everyone, welcome to Maverrik Live. I'm your host Luke 2 and today I'm joined by 𝗕𝗏𝗄cie𝗸.
Thanks for having me again.
Captain, Head of Business Development himself.
That's
You're
me.
here. How is this final week going for you in the land of 𝗕𝗏𝗄?
To be fair, it's been pretty busy for me and the sales team. I think I mentioned this briefly just beforehand as well. We're getting a lot of companies where, as most companies have like a allocated budget, some of them have it left over, so they're going, okay, what can we optimize and use it for?
Yeah.
So we're getting companies that are cramming in their training, and we're also getting companies who are going, 2022 is around the corner, let's get some plan in place.
Because if they don't use their entire budget, obviously the companies will be like, oh, well, you don't need this budget,
Yeah.
so we'll go trim it down. So they're looking for ways to better themselves, and the best way really is through, obviously not Christmas parties anymore, but training and courses and just bettering yourself for the new year.
Yeah.
Because whenever we're looking at this period of time, this last week, these last 2 weeks, usually the client-facing side is sort of rolling down, the meetings are slowing down, so everyone's looking inwards at the company and the processes and the training, so think to themselves, okay, now all the front load stuff is off our hands a little bit, not fully, but a little bit, how can we improve stuff in the office? That's kind of what we've been doing as well. We've been looking at our webinars, how we can improve the content, giving people the information and training that they want from us, basically developing our courses. So we've been using this time essentially as quite, it's like this whole big rush towards December of making sure that our 2022 is just straightforward, streamlined.
Precisely, yeah. I think everyone almost wants to hit 2022, hit the ground running, almost like back when you used to work in, like a retailers where everyone were like, all right, let's get all of our stock back out.
Yeah.
Let's make sure everything's brand spanking new, the posters are new, cleaning's new. So at least you're not having to go, okay, we're back in the new year. Let's do all of that stuff before we actually start selling.
Let's just catch up and start, start running, even though all the businesses around them are just like streamlining ahead because they're like, okay. I mean, it's kind of like when you're doing a long run. If you start off really quickly, you could lose a lot of energy towards the end. But if you kind of pace yourself and you know what you're going to do and you have a plan in your head, you kind of reach further.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's kind of what I think this whole part is now, is the strategy part of things, which we kind of, trademark excel at. We make sure that people know what they're doing going forward, and as long as we have to know about ourselves, because otherwise, well, how good would we be as trainers, as strategizers? If we're like, what are we going to do? I don't know.
Yeah, precisely. I'm sure with the most people that you speak to as well, you always need a plan in place, or else when it comes to that new year, if you're trying to spend time and effort making a plan as well as implementing the plan, it's so much more harder. Whereas if you've got the foundations of a plan, you go, okay, here's our keystones, here's our milestones, let's start working towards those individually. But even with our sales team as well, so we're doing it in terms of like the prospecting and social selling, we're preparing ourselves for the new year. So you can go, okay, we're not having to start fresh with people, it's just carrying on conversations.
Yeah.
And with Christmas being one of the hot topics, it's a great way to almost restart a conversation. Go, how was your Christmas and all of that?
Yeah, there's so many good conversation starters you can have from that. It's like, oh, where did you go? What did you do?
Yeah, precisely.
Like I mentioned, you mentioned it earlier, you're going away for Christmas. So if I was a contest of next time I see you or talk to you in January, I'd be like, oh, how was your holiday? Where did you go?
Yeah.
Was it fun? How many PCR tests did you need? Things like that.
Yeah, precisely. And I think the best things about being someone who's, in terms of sales, is when you're able to remember key things of, let's say, your prospect, whether it's their child's name, their kid's birthday, or where they've been on a holiday, they start to build that trust with you a bit more because you're actually listening to stuff that doesn't benefit them in any way. It actually benefits your life, and they're showing interest in that. So
as long as you get it right, you don't sound like a madman saying like, well, how's Martha? It's like, what do you mean?
And then you probably lost the deal, haven't you?
Exactly. I've never met this person before in my life. You're just like, oh, how are the kids? How was your holiday? Oh, I was great. It's like, I'm not connected with you.
Precisely. So it's almost keeping on top of everything, but keeping track, but not letting your foot off the gas completely.
Yeah.
Because as you know, with LinkedIn, it's one of those compounding platforms that as soon as you stop being in the eyes or in the feed of your prospects, you're forgotten. Because we live in such a fast-paced world where you probably see thousands of people on your LinkedIn every day. And then there'll be one day where you go, okay, Luke's posted something useful. Who's Luke? And then you start looking into Luke and you find out a bit of information about him. But then a week later, you've seen 1,000 other faces and you've completely forgotten
who that is. Yeah.
So it's actually going, okay, even though everyone's easing off, I need to keep my brand visible there. I need to make sure that my prospects still remember me. But having the organisation to go, okay, once I'm back from January, what are the things that I need to do? Whether it's building familiarity around those prospects again, creating those conversations again, and also getting myself brand visible again.
So from Christmas to New Year and onwards, you'll be posting as well to make sure it's on the feeds, because it's prime time to get in front of people, especially on social media during the Christmas season, because no one wants to talk to their in-laws or their children, so they're on their phones just scrolling through LinkedIn.
Yeah,
I'm kidding. But yeah, it's a good time where people are like winding down, and what happens then is sometimes when people have too much time on their hands without work, they get bored, so what they do, they go through social media, they try new things, they're looking around. And so it is a good time to actually not get the foot off gas with posting, but instead, keep posting, keep up to date with people. So then in January, when it comes on and they're in the office, they're going, oh, I had this, I saw this great post by 𝗪𝗏. It was really pertinent to what we should do going forward. We should book a discovery call with him. Like, yeah, sure. And then that's how it happens.
Yeah, precisely. And to be fair, now's quite a good time to actually try a few more personal posts, because we always get people who go, how can I add my own personal life or some personal posts in there? Around Christmas is probably the perfect time where you're actually getting people who are more relaxed, who are almost taking off their working hats and going, okay, like you said, in between Christmas meals or in between meeting families, maybe I'll just check social media. So it's almost sharing some of your life to go, okay, there is a person behind that company, and I'm not just buying into that company, I'm actually buying into Luke, who loves traveling around Christmas or has got a dog and he's going on walks. So now's a great time to actually build some personal relationships with people. Yeah,
people are a lot softer now in the Christmas period, because any other time where it's like you talk too much about yourself on, like maybe on LinkedIn, and be like, this isn't Facebook, what are you talking about? I don't want to hear about your kids and family. But it always feels around Christmas time, people are like, you want to wind down, I want to see a person like that.
So it's almost using that to your advantage and going, okay, no one will probably want to talk business over Christmas. So actually, if I'm engaging with people, how about I just engage in their personal lives? Ask them what they're doing for Christmas. What's that place like that you're going to? Do you mean
something nicer. It's not just like, oh, hey, Merry Christmas. What was your turnover this year? It's quite a weird and abrupt thing to do.
Yeah, precisely. So it's just nurturing the relationship and just using what you have at your hands to benefit yourself in that relationship.
Right, well, thank you for coming down, 𝗪𝗏.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you all for watching Maverrik Live today. We hope you have a wonderful Christmas period. This is our last week of lives. We'll be back next year, but it was in the second week or third week of for Maverrik Live 2022, so look forward to that one. Thank you again for coming down,
Thanks
𝗪𝗏.
for having me.
And thank you all for watching Maverrik Live. Please subscribe. I think I mentioned it before. Follow us on our social media channels. Basically, it helps us out, and you'll get some great tips about social selling as well. Thank you again, and we'll see you next time.